To whoever may need this nugget of encouragement, things will be alright, so quit your worrying. I get it, the odds can stack back against the wall, but even consider it such, know you'll stand tall. Sat and watch from the sidelines one too many times. Wicked games we play make me wanna lose my mind. Found solitude knowing it'll be over soon. Ever need a boost, count on me for the 1-2.
All right, everybody, what is up to episode 2, technically episode 1 of The Reflection. Today we got the 2025 Big Ten Punter of the Year, a 2025 Burlsworth Trophy nominee, and just declared for the 2026 NFL Draft, Ryan Eckley. Welcome.
How you guys
Ryan.
doing? Thank you.
Now, Ryan, I'll let you introduce yourself. Obviously, we could throw stats all day, but tell the people a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, I'm a punter here at Michigan State. I just finished my 4th year and declared for the NFL Draft. I'm originally from Tampa, Florida, and, just big on fishing, kicking, and lifting. That's pretty much my whole life. So,
Love it, dude. And like you said, you're from Florida, right? Is the exact area I looked it up? Is it Lithia? Is that right?
Yep, Lithia. It's a small town outside Tampa.
Got you. What was it like growing up there?
It's definitely different than Michigan. A lot warmer and a lot more rural than East Lansing.
Oh yeah. How was that transition? I mean, I feel like at the surface, especially playing a sport, I mean, in that weather, Big Ten, totally different from growing up in Florida. How was that transition for you?
Yeah, it was rough at first. I early enrolled to Michigan State, so I got here in January of 22, and it was a big culture shock to me to see, 6-degree weather, and we're outside punting. And my whole life I've been punting in Florida where it's warm, 80 and sunny year round, and so being able to kick a cold football is honestly crazy how different it is, and it was one of those things that I had to learn over my 4-year career here, and I got better at over time, and now I think it's become, one of my better traits to help me in the draft process is that I can punt in the cold.
Yeah, I love it. And speaking of 2022, you came into Michigan State, and you walked on. You came down to the cold, like you said, totally different. How was that process like, just depending on yourself, taking a shot in the dark and going for it?
Yeah, being a walk-on is really different. I was honestly really grateful for the experience and the opportunity that I had going as a walk-on. I think it humbles you, coming and paying your $55,000 of out-of-state tuition as a out-of-state student to Michigan, and it's so different, and it makes you, that day I got put on scholarship, and the following year was really surreal, and it's like you feel like you've earned something and you've worked for that, and it's a moment you think about your whole life. So I think being a walk-on, especially behind one of the best punters in the country at that time, and Bryce Baringer, who's on the Patriots now, and that was something that opportunity-wise made a lot of sense, and it's become a big part of my career.
Touching on the walk-on again, yeah, I mean, like you just said, I feel like I've never been in a scenario like this, but that is something where, again, you're from Florida, you go to the cold, it's such a different, just a different place overall. You're going to college, I go to Dayton. I'm from Columbus. It's away from home, kind of, an hour, not really. But for you to do that, and now to get to this point where you're a nominee for the Burlsworth Trophy.
Yep.
Is that correct? So that's, for those of you who don't know, that honors the best player who began as a walk-on in their college career. So, what did sort of being a walk-on teach you about life these past 4 years, getting to where you are now, from where you were in 2022? And what does it mean to you to be nominated with such a, great group of walk-ons?
Yeah, I think that's really it's a super prestigious award. I think, you put yourself in the category of like the Baker Mayfields of the world, who started out as a walk-on, worked their way all the way up, and he actually won the Heisman. Like, that's just, I think there's a level of grit behind walk-ons where it's like, nothing's given to you and you got to earn everything in front of you. Especially like a scholarship just being right in front of you, like all these guys around you are on scholarship, and you can't play the comparison game of, oh, well, he's on scholarship and I'm not, and I deserve one. That's not how the world works, especially not how college football works. So it's like it gives you a sense of pride and, grit, where you got to work for everything that's in front of you.
One of my favorite quotes is, when you point a finger, you got 3 pointing back at yourself.
Yeah, absolutely.
That pretty much just sums it up, what you just said right there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Who, if you had to say, at MSU had the biggest impact on your growth as a punter, but not only on the field, as a person off the field?
Oh, that's a really good question. There's a lot of names that come to mind. I think early into my career, as far as like the punting aspect goes, Bryce helped me as my true freshman year, helped me kind of develop as a punter and realize what it takes to be a punter at this level and to be successful. And then, as a person aspect, I think I had a lot of good coaches in my time here that really, impacted me. I think one of our strength coaches, Joe Powell, who's an assistant strength coach here at Michigan State, was a super influential guy and was able to kind of show the energy and the emotion to carry yourself around the college football building that makes people want to be around you and want to work with you. I think he did a really good job. I had a lot of really good coaches in the special teams field. My current coach, Joe Begnell, did a really good job of building that relationship with us and making us a whole group and showing what it takes to play at this level.
Speaking of, what is that special teams unit feeding you guys over there? Because I feel
Yeah,
like
we
you look like a linebacker.
Yeah, we've done a good job here of building a little culture of getting the guys in the weight room trying to lift. I like to think I was a part of building that culture of every day during practice. If we don't have something to do, a lot of teams will make the specialists stand out there and waste their time. And when it's not a special teams period, and we were like, hey, coach, like, this is one of the things we talked about with Coach Smith was really, hey, are we allowed to go up to the weight room and go make our time useful, go get a lift in. So during practice, we'd punt earlier in the day and days we wouldn't punt, I'd just go up to the weight room for an hour and a half, 2 hours, and just get a lift in, try and put some weight on. I want to look like a football player too.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. Obviously, you don't want a kick returner to, bust one open, but you're
Right.
ready when it happens.
Right. Oh yeah. You gotta be able to hit somebody.
Yeah. I looked at your stats. Hold on, I got them right here. Do you? I didn't put it down. Do you have a tackle in your
Oh
career?
yeah. I have. I want to say I have one every year. I have one or two. I had two this year and two the year before. I like to think I had a pretty big hit in the 24 season against the Illinois returner. They got me on the Pat McAfee show after one of those hits.
That's right. I actually did see that. What was that experience like?
That was cool. Honestly, it's one of those things where if I hit a punt, and especially in that instance, it wasn't my best punt, and if they're going to get a big return out of it, it's a frustration thing. Like you'll see, I'm out there, my chin strap's a little loose after I punt the ball, and I see they're starting to make a return. I'll run down the field, you see me tighten up my chin strap really quick, and it's just full head of steam. I mean, they're 40, 50 yards away from me, so it's just a 40, 50-yard full sprint you need at top speed. And I just met him on the sideline, caught him in a good spot, and able to land a pretty big hit on him. But it's one of those like a I don't want to say like, oh, it's disrespectful. You want to return one of my punts, but it's also like that's how I have to look at it in the moment, just so I can get the mentality of I got to go make a play now.
100%. And I think if I remember correctly, this could be wrong. Did you make that play on the Michigan State sideline?
I did.
That's hype. I mean, that's
It
as
was
hype as
fun.
it gets.
It was fun. All my boys were there, and they were firing me up and stuff. I stood over them and a little flex on them a little bit. I
Yeah.
just had to let them know, but it was fun. Like I remember a bunch of it was in front of the defense because they were about to get ready to run on the field after a punt, and they were all sitting there firing me like, "Come on, Eck! Come on, Eck!" It was fun. It was fun.
Yes, sir. Oh, I love it. I love it. Not to, switch the mood, but, Bradley Hewlett, a big part of your life. How about you tell the people a bit about Bradley and what he meant to you?
Yeah, so Bradley Hewlett was, my best friend growing up, one of my really good buddies in my group from really middle school, high school, and we played youth baseball together when we were like 8 years old. So that was one of my long friends, and he had passed away in December of 2019. It was actually 6 years ago, 2 days ago, and it was one of those things that's just when you're a sophomore in high school, losing a friend to an accidental gunshot. That changes your perspective on the world, your mentality on your day to day life. Like a lot of things change there, especially at such a young age. And I kind of call it like a character development thing, where it's like I watched myself become more grown up and more responsible because I had to be there for his family. I had to be there for my friends while also having people there for me as well. It was like a lot of adult things happen to a kid. And so it was a big part of who I am and kind of how I've developed.
Yeah. And through that process, obviously, like you said, it's one of those things where you got to grow up a little too early. What did that teach you, but also the grief in that process about just life, and also did that kind of play a role in football in your life? Did you look at football a little differently after that?
Yeah, as far as the grief aspect goes, it taught me a little bit about, everyone handles things differently. And the way I decided to handle those things was just to work a little bit harder at things I do. And so I can make him proud. Like, I know he's watching over me and following the things I do. And I talk to him before every game. I go down to the end zone and pray and sit there and talk to him for a little bit. And it's an emotional thing. So it's one of those things where it's like I responded by, a couple days later going to attack the weight room as hard as I could. Going out and every time I go out and kick, being a little bit more intentional because I'm doing it for something bigger than myself, which was a big part of kind of my career development, being that this is more than just me kicking a football. This is me making someone else proud and doing it for someone other than myself.
Totally, totally. Um, when you talk to him before games, and I guess just any day in life, it doesn't have to be on the field; it can be off the field too. What is something that Bradley taught you that you carry on today in your mindset, your habits, or even just the way you approach challenges and relationships on and off the field?
Yeah, just to take nothing for granted. Nothing's given to you, nothing's owed to you, and that every moment in life is a blessing. And that me being out there, being able to kick the ball on a Saturday or a Friday night or a Sunday, whatever day that may be when I'm kicking, is like what a blessing it is to have that opportunity, and that one day that could all be taken from you, and that it's like I said, a blessing that I may just be able to go out there and enjoy it. Like there's much bigger issues in the world than a punt being returned for a touchdown on me. Like obviously that's a big issue in the moment, but like there's so many bigger things going on in the world. It's at the end of the day, I'm just playing a kid's game, having fun. Like I'm just kicking a football, so it's just like go out there and enjoy it.
Yeah, yeah, that's a very good way to look at it. I think obviously you know yourself better than anyone, but at the surface, it really does seem like you took that experience and you made the most of it for not just yourself, but for him as well and everyone around you. Um, what do you think Bradley would say about the path you're on right now? You know, it's crazy to say, but you're getting ready for the NFL at this point in your life and your career.
Yeah, I think he'd be proud. I like to think that he'd be pretty proud of me, and that he's always been supportive of me, even in early high school and everything. When it all started to unfold a little bit, and before he had passed, he had told me how proud he was and how it was going to be a fun adventure. And one of our favorite pastimes was sitting down together watching college football games together. He and I both grew up Ohio State fans, so being able to sit down and watch an Ohio State game, be like I'm gonna be on that stage one day. Like this is going to be where I'm going to be. And he was like, I believe you. Like I know you can do it. Like that's something that being able to get to this level now is something that I think he would be really proud of.
Sounds like he'd be pretty proud if you had to ask me. Um, I didn't know you were an Ohio State fan, by the way.
Yeah, I grew up a huge Ohio State fan. I don't like telling too many people this just because I'm a huge Michigan State guy now. I'll bleed green till I die now. But my room was painted scarlet and gray until the day I moved into Michigan State.
There you go. What I mean, obviously you played at the shoe a couple
Yeah,
times at this
yeah.
point. What was that like?
That was super, super cool. And like I said, Bradley and I grew up Ohio State fans, so that game was really emotional for me. Pregame, I may have shed a tear or two just because, like, this is like we had talked about this, and then getting to this level, it's like I had, I got videos in my Snapchat of me saying I'm going to play here when I'm in like sixth grade. Going to Ohio State Michigan games. Growing up, going to like I used to go to about one Ohio State game every year, and so like being able to play at the shoe, and having a pretty good game against them. I know I pinned. We only played there once, but I pinned a punt on a one, averaged like close to 50 yards. I believe I had a pretty good game that game. So it's like being able to perform at a high level somewhere you've dreamed about as a kid is really cool.
That's awesome. Is the Ohio State connection through family? If I had to
Yep.
guess.
Yep. Family's from Ohio. And then I was born in the Cleveland area. Lived there for about 2 years before I moved down to Tampa.
Gotcha. So you're a Browns fan?
I never really got into the NFL, which I think has made this NFL process a little easier. Like I just don't like people ask me all the time, like, where would you like to play? Perfect. Like whoever wants to let me play for them, like, it's like, I'll play wherever I get the opportunity to. So it's like, I never really had an NFL team. My like family's Browns fans, grew up watching some Bucks games with some friends, but always a Saturdays guy. Just love college football.
I love it. I love it. All right. So now to get into sort of where you're at now, and the future that is to come soon enough. How would you describe the evolution of Ryan Eckley from your first day on campus, the walk on from Florida going into East Lansing, and now on the edge of your NFL career?
Yeah, I look back at it and I laugh. Like there's some moments where it's like, dude, I was immature. Like I didn't know what I was getting into. Like I had no relatives in my family play college football, so I didn't really know what to expect going into it. Like I didn't have a brother or a dad or anyone like that had played at this level to be able to tell me, hey, this is what you're going to see, this is what to expect. So I went in totally blind, and I was immature. I was a 17-year-old kid when I first got here, and it's like to see myself grow up a little bit, get into the comfortability of like being in a college football building. Like when I remember I first got there, I was terrified. I was worried about everyone thought of me, and now it's like I feel like I'm one of the older guys where people look up to me, and what I do has an impact on them, which is such a crazy transition. And I think it's been really really neat to see like the individual growth and development around college football, where I came in scared and came out more of like a I was ready for this, and this is like a really cool culture to be a part of.
That's really cool, man. What do you think the biggest thing that you've learned through these last 4 years has been?
Biggest thing I've learned through college football, I think, would just be that like nothing's more important than hard work. Like the harder you work at, and that goes for everything, not just football, not just school, but like all things. Like if I can just put your head down and work at something, then you're going to get to the goal that you'd like to. And even if you don't, like that journey that you did along the way will better you as an individual.
So do you think, obviously, I mean, you've worked your tail off your whole life, but was there a little talent there, or did you sort of get into punting later, you know? Did you sort of, was it, oh, I just tried punting, I just saw it soar, it was a natural sort of motion for me? Or how was that process starting punting like?
Yeah, starting punting was interesting because I've played football my whole life. I started playing football when I was 6. Played tackle football. My mom forged a birth certificate so that I could play tackle football a year earlier than everyone
No way.
else, which is awesome. My family's a little rabid about football, and my mom's always been super supportive. So, but yeah, all my friends are playing flag, and I was playing tackle. I played center my first year because I was the biggest kid on the team. And I grew up playing quarterback, a little bit of tight end, a little bit of D end, and then in high school I played a little safety. But I picked up when you're 8 years old, kicking gets introduced into youth football, and we had an open tryout because PATs are worth 2 points, not one. And like if you go for two, it's worth one. And so we like obviously it's more beneficial to kick a PAT because you get the extra point. And we had a tryout, and I had won the tryout maybe with a little bit of a soccer background, and I just did it for those youth ball years and just kind of stuck with it. Punting wasn't something I discovered until really like high school. Like I never even thought punting was going to be something that I would do until like my sophomore year of high school when I realized I'm not terrible at this. And then by junior year, I was like, oh, I'm definitely better at punting than I am kicking, and kind of head on that trajectory.
Damn, that first thing you said about your mom forging the certificate, it reminds me of the scene from Benchwarmers, where it's like, I am 12.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
$20
Oh,
bill.
oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's pretty much how it went. Like I didn't. I don't know. My buddies are playing flag, and I was like, Mom, I don't want to play flag. I want to go strap on the helmet pads and go hit somebody and play real football. Like, and it was so crazy to me, like being able to get out there and was the youngest guy in the team, and I was still one of the bigger guys in the team playing center. And it's a funny story. It's a funny story.
That's crazy. So you got experience on the line, in the secondary,
Yeah.
and now especially, that's crazy.
Yeah. I've played a
Born
little bit
for
of
it.
everything.
Born for it. I do, yeah. So again, a lot of people who, you might watch football, but you might not totally stand it. Punting is usually, a very calm technical role on the field. Um, but you, my friend, again, you're on Pat McAfee. You bring the energy, and I'm sure you've been asked this before. But how important is it for you to bring that sort of energy and that swagger at the punting position?
Yeah, I try to just have fun with it. I think like you said, like punting is usually pretty calm and technical, and I like to keep myself as calm as possible when I'm out there kicking. But there's certain times when energy is very much needed. Making a hit's definitely one of them, and other times just on the sideline, like just bringing some swag, bringing some fire, trying to get the rest of the team going. Like something bad. I mean, if I'm out there punting, it means we didn't have the best offensive drive, so it's good to be able to, like, after a big punt, go back over there and talk to our quarterback or talk to some of our receivers or running backs. Like, hey, but we're good. We got this. Like, we just pinned them inside the 10-yard line. They got to go 90 yards. Our defense is going to make a stop, and then we're going to go score. Like, being able to remind the team about complementary football, where special teams helps the defense, which then helps the offense. Like, it's like that's being able to bring some fire and be a leader on the team and kind of like hype some guys up is usually a pretty big part of it as well.
100%. And to your point, field position is a big part of the game. It's all momentum. And again, I'm punting at the surface. I mean, if you ask a random person who watches the NFL who their favorite player is, it's most likely not going to be a punter, right?
It's not a punter. No.
Let's be real here. Yeah. So how have you embraced playing a position like punter that often gets maybe a little overlooked, but it plays a massive role in field position battles and winning ball games?
Yeah, you just got to go out and we say do your 111, do your assignment of the 11 guys on the field, do your job. And I just go out there and do my job to the best of my ability. And I make a big play. We put a punt inside the 10 or put him on the 1 yard line. I want to show a little fire, show him I'm a football player too. And if I hit a McGregor celebration or a golf swing or something like that, like let them remind him, a receiver scores a touchdown, they get to celebrate. Let me celebrate a little bit, right? Like let's just have some fun.
100%. You got any more Sallies in that bag over there?
I don't know. I just kind of it's usually a heat of the moment thing. The McGregor thing came out for the first time against Iowa in 23, and then it blew up on social media. So I kept doing it, and it was just one of those things. It's like a huge Conor McGregor fan, and just thought it was awesome to do. And then golf swings, like a hitting my sand wedge, pinning him on the one. Like it's just kind of heat of the moment. Whatever comes out, comes out.
That's sick, man. That's awesome. And again, you're talking about pinning punts. You've pinned quite a few. Again, let's go to your stats again. I think you have. I don't have it down. Your average punt. Do you know your collegiate stats on the top of your head?
My season average or career average?
I think that this looks like career average right here.
I think my career average is like 47.7.
47.6.
47.6. 47.6. Yeah.
Glaze.
Yeah, it was a pretty good 3 years. It was fun. I was close. I think I was within 0.2 yards of the all-time NCAA average, which would have been cool.
Really?
Yeah, I think it's it was first in the Big Ten, and then the guy who holds the first. I'm second all time, I believe. I think first place all time is Ryan Stonehouse, who was at Colorado State.
Ryan Stonehouse. What year was he at Colorado State?
He graduated in 21, I believe, and was with the Titans for a little bit, and then just most recently on the Dolphins.
Cool. Yeah, I'm not a big Colorado State ball knower. So
yeah, once you start getting on these punters, it's a small community. I know everybody, which is honestly one of the really cool things about specialists is there wasn't a game we played this year where I didn't know a specialist on their team and go talk to him or say what's up. Like some of my really good buddies play for some of the teams that we play against, and pre-game warm-ups, I'm talking to them, and at halftime we're having conversations because usually the specialists are out there alone. So it's a cool community.
That is really cool. Is there a social media presence there? Like, do you guys, you'll see each other on the field or wherever. If you're playing Iowa, you'll see the special teams unit out there. But is there anything on social media, like you guys will text or anything like that?
Yeah, we had a group chat on Snapchat of I think 40 or 50 kids in our class. It was like the top kickers or punters in our class that we talk in still to this day from sophomore year of high school, which is cool. I've met a lot of cool guys in there, and we all train together down in Gatlinburg, Tennessee with the Coles kicking camps and stuff. And we'll get some work in then, and we'll still text to find ways to hang out and stuff. We'll share Airbnbs, and those are guys that I'm doing a lot of pre-draft training with heading here in the next couple months.
That's really cool. They need instead of a tight end TEU, they need a little special teams U.
Yeah, they do. That'd be fun. That'd be cool.
That would be. Shout out Sam Powers too. Cole's kicking camp. He used to show up.
Oh yeah, there's a Cole's athlete right there.
Yep. Shout out Sammy Chums right there. But again, Big Ten punter of the year. That's not an accident. That doesn't happen overnight. What role did your coaches, your teammates, the overall, support system at Michigan State play in helping you reach that award?
Yeah, that was one of those things I couldn't do alone, and it comes down to, every part of the staff we're surrounded with, whether that's my coaches helping me put me in the best situation I can on the field, or athletic training staff keeping me healthy, or the strength staff working with me all off season and getting me stronger. That's just one of those things that it's a year-long process. It's been going for the last 4 years here at Michigan State, and like you said, wasn't an overnight thing, but definitely a combination effort between a pretty large group of people.
Yeah, definitely. And we're going to go into a little bit of a speed round. I like to call this the speed round here. So I guess in one sentence, What has punting taught you about life that you don't think you would have learned in any other way?
Good play, bad play, next play.
Mm.
Something good happens, keep moving. Something bad happens, keep moving.
Applies to life.
Yep.
An object in motion stays in motion.
Yep, absolutely.
What message would you give to a young walk-on right now who's questioning whether they belong?
Just keep working. Put your head down and work. It's all about work. You keep working. No matter how hard things get, you just got to keep working. That's the only thing that's going to make things better.
100%. What is the first word that comes to your mind when you see the number 3?
I'm thinking about a way to put that into a word. I could say, yeah. I could say special because it has a super special impact to me. I feel like there's a better word for it, but yeah, I'll just go with special. Like that's a number that's really played a big part in my life.
This isn't on my list, but obviously you repped 96 all 4 years. Did you rep 96 all 4 years?
Yep.
Does that have something to do with like the increments of 3?
Honestly, it was the number they gave me when I got here. I would have liked to wear 3, but as a walk-on freshman punter, it's hard to get 3.
Yeah.
And then 3 being such a big number for like transfers and recruits, like that was offered to other people before it was to me. But I did tell the staff, I was like, hey, this is earlier in the year. I was like, hey, I'm not sure if I'm coming back for my 5th year or not, but if I do, I am wearing 3.
There you go. Yeah, I would assume it's pretty hard to get the number you want as a walk-on punter.
100%. They told me, hey, bro, you're going to wear 96, and I said, thank you for the jersey.
Exactly. What else could you say?
Right.
If you could talk to the version of yourself who walked on campus 4 years ago, what would you tell him now?
I would say you haven't made it yet, which is something that I'm sure someone told me. But there was definitely a bit of a mentality when you get here is like, and I think this goes to which has helped me succeed. Sorry about my dog. That being getting to this level of college football makes you think like, oh, I've made it. Like I've done something really big, and so your head can get big sometimes. And it's like, dude,
it's a big one right there.
And it's okay, hold on. And it's like you haven't made it yet. Like you got to keep working. Like just because you got to college football doesn't mean the job's done. So I would just tell myself, hey, you got to keep your head down. You got to keep working. Don't let your head get too big. And that was something that you got to on the field. You can have that. I'm the best punter in the country. I'm the best punter in the world. And no one's better than me when you're on the field. But in the second you're off the field, you got to turn the switch off and be pretty humble about how you study your film and how you approach each day.
100%. At the time when you walked on and you got the news, hey, you're wearing 96. Welcome to the team. Obviously you're going to be excited. You did it. Was there a sense of, oh, I did it. This is it. I'm on Michigan State. I'm punting in the Big Ten. I mean, was that, sort of, what's the word? I'm missing the word here, but was it sort of like, okay, I did make it in a way?
Right. I think that's kind of where being a walk-on played a big role. Is like I always had a goal in front of me. Like when I got here, there was like, yeah, I made it on the team, but now my goal is to get put on scholarship. And then once I got put on scholarship, then I was like, all right, now my goal is to be a starter and a successful starter here. And then once a successful starter, like then the goals became, award-based or individual, like performance-based. So like I think that's what kind of prevents you from getting to that mentality is always having a goal in front of you.
Good play, bad play, next play.
Next play. Absolutely.
On behalf of punters everywhere, what message do you want to put out there about your position and the people who play it?
Yeah, I think you always say the phrase "punters are people too." That's big. It's like you're just as much of a football player as everyone else on the team, and you gotta act like it. You gotta behave like it. You gotta go out there, and if it's time to make a hit, go make a hit. And if it's time to go to the weight room and move some heavy weight like everyone else is, go into the weight room and do what you're supposed to do. Being a specialist doesn't put you in a different situation than anyone else. You gotta be able to be a college football player at the end of the day.
100%. Who are some people up to this point? There will be more in the future, obviously, who you would like to thank up until this point in your life?
Yeah, there's a lot of thanks I'd like to give my parents, especially, who made it, a bunch of huge sacrifices for me to get here. I can think of countless hours my mom and I spent on a football field in the middle of nowhere in Florida, just kicking a football. And I had buddies coming out there helping me film, just trying to get me some footage of me kicking so I could get recruited. So huge thanks to those guys that got me out here. The staffs of people that got me recruited, whether that was Cole's Kicking or Adam Tanalski with HKA, helped me a lot in the recruiting process. And my coaches and really the whole Michigan State staff that kept me healthy and kept me working towards all these goals to get here right now.
That's amazing, man. And again, there will be more soon to come. I was going to ask you what team you want to be on, but I guess we already got that cleared out earlier.
Yeah, whoever wants me to play for him, man. There's no team. I mean, I once, like I said, I'm from Florida, so I'd like to be warm. I'm not a huge cold weather guy, but you know what? You got to punt in the cold. You got to punt in the cold. You do what you're told. That's one of those things where if someone wants me to punt in the cold, then I say yes, sir. Thanks for the opportunity, and go punt in the cold.
That's how it goes. You got any prediction for this college football playoff or the NFL playoffs?
I mean, the college football playoffs really throw me for a loop because I thought Ohio State looked like a really good team this year, and then obviously Indiana won the Big Ten championship, so it'll be an interesting playoff to watch. I think there's we played a couple of the teams in there. So it'll be fun. Indiana's obviously a really really good team, and I mean there's some really talented players on really every team, which is so fun. Like the college football landscape is so much closer than you think. Like you talk about, like these teams are so dominant, they're so good. These 12 teams made it to the playoff, but like we've played toe to toe with a bunch of teams that have made the playoff, and then it's like, well, Michigan State didn't win a bunch of games this year, but you look back at our games and we're playing competitive football with these teams. So it's like the Big Ten and the SEC especially are two very competitive leagues where there's a lot of really good teams, and on any given Saturday you can go out there and win a football game.
So are you saying there's a chance to the JMU fans and the Tulane fans out there?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. It's any given Saturday. I think basketball more than football, you see those crazy upsets and the Cinderella stories.
Yeah.
But football, too, it's like these are, at the end of the day, these guys, I mean, look at JMU, their entire team transferred to Indiana, and now Indiana's the number team in the country, Like Signetti brought over, I want to say like 15 starters or maybe more, like when his first year there, and they were a really good program. Like there's talent everywhere, and there's athletes everywhere. And the brand and the name of your school will not win you a championship.
100%. And to the basketball point, I was nice. I was respectful. But I was a Middle Tennessee State fan at one point in time.
Yeah.
That's all I'll say for the Michigan State people watching this.
We got a really good team this year, though. This will be fun to watch. Michigan State basketball is looking really hot so far, and we've got some really good players. I know I've gotten pretty close with Jeremy Fears, who's our point guard. He's a really good guy and a really good player.
Yeah. Let's get him on here.
Yeah, we should.
Michigan State train rolling.
We should.
All right. Now, I'm a graphic designer at heart. I love sports art. So I'm going to do a little segment with you where we rank logos. You're going to blind rank them. Logos and jerseys from over the years. 5 each. I ranked them myself. We can compare after.
But I don't know what's coming next.
You don't know what's coming next.
Okay.
That's the beauty of it.
Okay.
And I apologize in advance because the NIL shop hooked me up with the photo here.
There's a freshman year picture right there. There we go. There's an 18-year-old.
Oh, yeah. Hey, hit up the NIL shop, though. It's still open, no?
I believe so, yeah. I believe you can still get a Ryan Eckley jersey or a Ryan Eckley shirt.
To the people out there. All right. Design debate. That's what we're going to go with here. That's what we're going to call it. Logo rankings. You can see this all right, right?
Yep.
All right, here we go. Logo number 1.
Bucky. Yeah, Bucky the Badger. Here we go. That's a good logo. I'm gonna go. I want to start past it. I'm gonna go 2. We're starting 2.
2. All right.
That's a good logo.
Love it. We're going Wisco 2. I actually don't know what year this was used, but it is a beautiful logo.
That's a cool logo. Wow. Is that Penn
Not
State?
So much
Is that Penn State?
Do you know what school it is?
I'm pretty sure that's either a throwback. That's got to be a throwback Penn State.
It is not. It is not a Big Ten team. Do you want to guess what team it is?
Is that UConn?
It is. It is UConn.
Okay. I thought yeah. That's 5. That's 5.
5, yeah.
That's a pretty intimidating looking. That's scary.
Yeah. There it is, right there.
1 Gruff. Gruff Sparty, the coolest logo we have. Gruff Sparty. I'm not wearing Gruff right now. Gruff is the sweetest logo we got.
Is this is used on the basketball shorts.
We have basketball shorts and jerseys, and we had a helmet logo that we wore with it in 2023. I know we wore it for sure, and I think we wore it in 24.
Why not this year? I mean, this is it right here.
We kept things super traditional this year with the new athletic department, but that's one of my favorite logos we've ever worn. We actually get to we get to keep some of our helmets and pick the logos we're putting on it, and I will be putting Gruff on one of our helmets that I keep.
Yep, you got to. Love the choice right there.
All right, so I got 1, 2, and 5. Yeah, the green wave's cool. I like. There's a lot going on though. I think there's too much going on. I think if they got rid of the lettering 2-lane, we'd be higher up. But just there's too much going on. We're going 4.
We're going 4 here. All right,
that was our 3 spot.
With the 3 spot, I
love it. I crushed it. That's great.
Yeah, I honestly think you might have just crushed this. I'm updating your rankings right now as we go through, but let me hit him with one of these. Here we go.
How do we do? Michigan State.
So, yeah.
Okay. So you got Wisconsin a little lower than me.
I had Wisconsin at 4, and I just think the 2-lane logo, like, I miss the detail. You know, you see in the NBA or honestly any sport besides NHL, it's all circles and minimalistic.
Right. No, I love this vintage look with a lot going on and stuff. I think there's a little too much going on in the 2-lane logo, but those vintage logos, the throwback stuff, some of them are so cool with like the classic look behind it. The minimalistic stuff is kind of boring.
It is. I understand why they do it, but
right.
You know. But all right, we're gonna go to jerseys.
All right.
But I will say, I mean, this close.
It's close. That's close.
We got Michigan State.
We got 1 and 5. We got 1 and 5. Everything else is a little one off.
Yeah. Same idea. All right, here we go. Jerseys. All-time alternate NCAA uniforms. Starting with Maryland.
Wow, there's a lot going on in these. 5.
5? All right. 5. Yeah, they love using their flag. We all know that.
The flag's cool, but there's just if it weren't for the accessories also having it, maybe. But the shoulder sleeves, it's a lot. The helmet's not bad. The helmet's not bad.
Shoes. Look at the shoes.
And the cleats. Yeah, we get the cleats too.
Oh, all right.
Oh, class. Yeah, the eggshells. Eggshells are sweet. Let's go. I'm going 2.
Go 2? Okay.
Yeah, we'll put the eggshells at 2.
We'll go 2. I actually forget what game they wore these, but I remember hating on them pretty hard, and then on the field they looked all right.
I want to say they wore them in a big game. Was it a playoff game or?
It might have been. I think it was last year, whatever it was.
It was. Last year they broke them out for the first time, I think, or 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Cool off-white cream, the color wave. It's cool. The cream. I like those. I'm gonna go 3.
3. So we got the 1 spot and the 4 spot open right now.
Yep.
So this is a big one right here.
All right. Hear me out. The jerseys, overhated. The pants, I get it. The pants are they're pretty awful. Like that's like the team will agree too. There's too much going on with the pants. I have that jersey framed because I wore it my freshman year. Fun fact, that was the jersey I got my first collegiate punt in against Akron in week 2 of 2022. My 1 punt that year.
There you go. So you got a soft spot for it.
I got a soft spot for him. The jersey's cool. It's framed in my room back home. But yeah, we'll put him at 4. But right. the pants, not helping.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, I mean, the pants. To your point, I'll just leave it at that.
Yeah.
But yeah, you got a little soft spot for it, you know. And then I guess this is your 1.
I don't hate putting it at 1. I mean, obviously, I'm a little biased. Like I said, I grew up an Ohio State fan. But they wore those. They broke those out against us in 2023 when we played against Ohio State at Ohio State. They wore it may not have been their first time, it could have been their second, but they wore them against us, which is pretty sweet.
Was that a night game?
That was a night game, yep. It was a night game in the shoe, and they wore the all grays. Those are pretty cool. My favorite Ohio State uniforms, the blackouts, though, they wore with like JT Barrett back in like 2016.
100%. I actually have that jersey in my room right now.
It's a really cool jersey.
Yeah. So, all right, here we go. We got the logos out of the way,
Let's
and
see it.
let's see it.
Okay, Ohio State. Yeah. So yeah, we're one off on all of them. We flipped a couple of them.
Yeah.
To be fair, I did go in blind, but I don't hate my ranking. Oklahoma 1 is crazy to me. You got them over the Ohio States and the Oregons.
Something about the creams, man.
The cream is cool. The cream is cool. The
Yeah.
off-white is sweet.
Something about them. But yeah, I mean, you're going in blind. Honestly, for going in blind, I think you did a pretty
No,
good.
those weren't bad. I'm pretty happy with those. Those weren't bad.
Yeah. And honestly, looking at the Maryland's one again, you might be right. That shit might be 5.
They're terrible. And remember we said jerseys. So if we're just talking jerseys, give me the Michigan State over them. If full
Maybe. You
uniform,
might be right.
full uniform though, if we're including the pants, I don't hate those neons at 5.
Yeah, 100%. All right, I'm gonna stop the screen share, but all right, Ryan, thanks for coming on, man. This has been fun. Again, man, good luck for the rest of your career, man.
Thank you.
Good play, bad play, next play.
Absolutely.
Keep that
Absolutely.
with me as well. So
Sounds good. I appreciate you having me on.
thanks, dude.
All right, later. Unboxing video here for my guy Nicholas Eddy, aka Nedge. Had a great time on a podcast with him. Sent me a box to see if I can figure out how to open. I used the tape cutters on it earlier. Oh wow, this is awesome. Good play, bad play, next play. Mentality to live by. Really appreciate it, bro. This is awesome. I'll get this hung up in my room, dude. I really appreciate it, man. I had a great time. Check out the channel.
I know you've been looking for a breakthrough, trying our best to make do. Every day is something new, but change gon' come, oh yes, it's true.